Today I will be working on stacking a Frigidaire washer and dryer. The tools I will be using is a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver, and a pry bar tool. I will also use a socket set. First of all, I want to point out that this washer was attached to this pedestal. Your washer may or may not be attached to it. I'm going to go ahead and give a quick showing of how I was able to take that off there. By putting the washer on its side, I was able to gain access to the pedestal below, which had 4 mounting bolts. I used a socket to remove the 4 mounting bolts. And then I was able to take the pedestal from the bottom of the washer. Also, in my case, I had 4 stabilizing legs on the bottom of the pedestal that I transferred from the bottom of the pedestal to the bottom of the washer. I'm going to show you here that this has threads all the way up. You thread this into the bottom of your washer, and then the nut here is to lock it in place at the desired height. Once I get it at the height I'd like, I put it on the ground, stabilize it, and use the nut to lock it in place. Now I want to remove the top plate of the washer housing. I will do this by removing the 4 screws on the back, 2 for each mounting bracket. Once I remove the screws, I'll lift the back panel slightly to ensure that it is free to move. Then I'll slide the top panel a couple inches forward, not to go too far, and lift it straight up off of the housing. I want to point out that on the top panel here, there is a slider here. If you slide this too far forward, the actual top will slide on these brackets and it will not actually lift up. This is to give service to the washer, so that's why you only want to come out a few inches and lift straight up. Now I'll be removing these 2 brackets on top of the washer. And I want to save the screws and put them aside. These screws will be used later. They are the only screws that fit into the holes on top of the washer the correct way. Now I'll be working on the dryer. There are some mounting brackets on the front and on the back. I'll start on the back side. I'll remove 2 mounting brackets that have 2 screws each. Once I remove the 2 brackets from the back, I'll move to the front of the dryer, and I'll use my pry tool and a flathead screwdriver and take the 2 front plugs that cover the screw that is used to attach the dryer to the mounting bracket on the bottom of the pedestal. After I remove the plugs, I will use a Phillips head screwdriver to remove the 2 screws that hold the dryer in place. And now I'll lift the dryer up just over the 2 brackets, because this is the hardware I will be using to install on top of the washer now. I will remove the 2 brackets using a Phillips head screwdriver. There are 2 screws per bracket. Now I need to get the dryer on top of the washer. I did not have a helping hand, so I did this myself. I do not recommend this. This is very dangerous. Please have someone help you during this step. It is very dangerous to do this on your own. Now that I have the dryer on top of the washer, I'll push it back a bit and make some room, because I'll be using the 2 brackets that I took off the top of the pedestal for the dryer, and I'll be putting them in place of the 2 brackets that were originally on top of the washer. The screws that were put aside earlier are going to be the screws that will be used to put these brackets down. Once the brackets are in place, you can eyeball them to make sure that they do match correctly with where the holes are going to be for the dryer to mount. You're going to lift the dryer up a bit and pull forward to bring the dryer over the brackets so that now you'll see the holes are matched up. I will use my screws that I took out previously and screw them back in using the Phillips head screwdriver. I will rock the dryer back and forth a bit so that the screw is able to go on straight. After I get the 2 screws secure, I will insert the 2 plugs. Now, I'll take the 2 brackets off of the top of the panel that was secured to the washer that I took off earlier. There is 1 screw per bracket. And the easiest way to take this bracket off is to turn it at a 45-degree angle where it sits, and it will pull right out of the bottom. Do the same thing for both the brackets. Now this bracket has 2 holes here and a lip on top of it. You'll notice on the back of the washer where these were previously installed, we'll go ahead and flip them so that the tongue goes into the small slot here on the back of the dryer, and that one of the 2 holes on the back of the mount is going to line up now. For some reason these brackets are like this. They do not match up the way that they were before, but they still do mount the dryer down to the washer just fine. Just to show you which models these were from the front, the Frigidaire dryer and washer. And now that they are stacked, there is more room and you should have something looking like this. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.